You can earn $92,000 a year and feel completely secure. Or earn the exact same $92,000 and feel one emergency away from panic. Same paycheck, completely different life. The gap between those two realities comes down to a number most people couldn't tell you right now. That number is net worth. There are exactly 3 points on that number line where everything about money quietly changes. But the third one is the strangest, because at that level, some people become happier than they've ever been, and others discover the number they've chased for 20 years solved almost nothing. 3 months ago, both Ryan and Chris got surprise bills within the same week. Ryan's HVAC failed. Chris needed a transmission. Ryan paid his and forgot about it. Chris spent the weekend moving money between accounts, trying to make everything fit. Meet Ryan, 34, IT project management in Phoenix, $92,000 a year. A 401k and a spreadsheet. Projected balances out to 65. His neighbor Chris makes the same money one floor up. No spreadsheet. 2 car payments, a Costco membership, the sense that money is a problem he'll solve later. Income determines your lifestyle. Net worth determines your freedom. Level 1 is $100,000. Not income, net worth. Everything you own minus everything you owe. Charlie Munger once said the first 100,000 is the hardest part. Get there by any means necessary, because what happens next is mathematically different. Investing $10,000 a year at 7%. $0 to $100,000 takes almost 8 years. The market barely helps. Every dollar is one you earned, saved, and refused to spend. But from $100,000 to $200,000, 5 years. From $200,000 to $300,000, under 4. At $100,000 invested at 7%, your portfolio throws off $7,000 a year without you lifting a finger. Nearly a full maxed-out IRA contribution, produced while you sleep. Researchers asked people to imagine a $1,500 surprise expense, then gave them a cognitive test. Lower-income participants scored the equivalent of losing a full night of sleep. That's the hidden tax of being broke, not the missing money, the missing mental bandwidth. Being broke doesn't just cost money. It rents space in your head. The Fed found nearly 30% of American adults couldn't cover a $500 surprise. That's a cushion failure. Level 1 buys the cushion. It buys the ability to hear bad news without immediately opening your banking app. The emergency isn't what hurts. The uncertainty is. Level 2 is $500,000 to $1 million. At $500,000 invested, 7% generates $35,000 a year automatically. At $1 million, $70,000, more than the median American earns full-time. Your portfolio now acts like a second employee. Most people don't have a money problem. They have a gap problem, the gap between what comes in and what goes out. A meeting where your manager says something unreasonable, and instead of absorbing it, you notice, calmly, almost surprised, that you could walk. The dishwasher dies, and the crisis lasts 4 minutes. Most people think they're building wealth. They're actually upgrading expenses. Income rises, spending follows, the thrill resets within a year. This is how people earning $300,000 still feel broke. Level 2 isn't about earning more. It's about leaving the gap open long enough for compounding to walk through it. Last month, Ryan pushed back on his director in a meeting he would have stayed quiet in a year ago. The director backed off. For years, Ryan thought confidence came from personality. What he didn't realize was that confidence and financial security had been quietly growing together the whole time. And that's where most people think they've won. They're wrong. Most people spend their entire lives trying to reach level 3. Then some of them get there and discover the numbers solve far less than they expected. Level 3 is $2.50 to $5 million. The 4% rule. Withdraw 4% annually, and historically you don't run out. At $5 million, a 7% return generates $350,000 a year. Top 4% of U.S. households. About 5.5 million out of 135 million have cleared this line. For the 80% who are reasonably content, more money keeps buying more happiness. For the unhappy 20%, Money relieves stress up to $100,000 and then stops. Because the unhappiness was never financial. What wealth actually does is amplify whatever was already there. Wealth is a microphone. It doesn't change the song. It makes it louder. The hidden mistake is assuming wealth and fulfillment are the same problem. One is financial. The other is human. Last week, Ryan opened the spreadsheet and didn't look at the balance. He looked at the timeline. He closed the laptop and went to make dinner. No celebración. Just a quiet sense that the direction was right. One of them is spending money to feel successful. The other is using money to become harder to control. Level 1 buys peace. Level 2 buys leverage. Level 3 buys time. And time is the one thing every rich person and every broke person receive in exactly equal amounts. Ryan will probably never remember the exact transfer that changed his life. Most people don't. The decisions that matter rarely feel important when you make them. Nobody will see the transfers you made. Nobody will see the purchases you skipped. Nobody will see the automatic investments. They'll only see the result, the freedom, the options, the time, and they'll assume it happened all at once. It didn't. It happened one invisible decision at a time.